What if I did my entire vlog like this? Hello, it is me. It is I, 'tis I. 'Tis I, Nicole. No. Hello there. What the hell was that? Nope. Hi, welcome to Nick Critiques. Nick Critiques. Hello. This is a class assignment. That's how I'll be starting my video. This is a class assignment. Super entertaining! Alright. Hey guys, welcome to my second vlog. This is Nick Critiques. Let's get started. So welcome to my second vlog. This is a show where a 21-year-old undergraduate philosophy student critiques movies, which she has no authority nor credible experience to do. Here we go. Today's movie is called Romeo and Juliet. It is the 1968 version of Romeo and Juliet, and if you are watching it, you are probably being assigned to, because let's be real, it's 2019. We have better special effects now. With that in mind, you've probably read the play, you've probably seen multiple adaptations of it, you've probably heard the lines, "Wherefore art thou, Romeo?" in your sleep. So, this movie is a breath of fresh air. Let me tell you something. I was so happy with the way this movie turned out. Going into it, I was expecting to be bored. I was expecting to forward through. I was expecting to pause it, go do some stuff, come back. I was not expecting to be thoroughly entertained. So to begin, one of the reasons why this movie was so incredible was because of the casting. I am so happy that the director for this 1968 version, or the casting director, chose age-appropriate actors. It's pretty typical, I guess maybe in the 30s when the first rendition that we watched was made. I don't know what the laws were on child actors, but
you are so dumb.
Whatever it may be.
You are really dumb.
They would use people in their like mid to late 30s to play Romeo and Juliet, and it just didn't make sense, didn't resonate. The script didn't really follow, because you were like, these are kids being bossed around by their parents, but this woman looks like she is concerned about her retirement. Like, it didn't make sense. This version, you were like, okay, these are teenagers, this makes sense. So I think not only was the casting as far as the age of the actors super appropriate, but I think they did a really good job in selecting actors that would be able to not only read Shakespeare's lines, but interpret them in a way that would resonate with teenagers no matter when you watch this movie. I think even now watching this movie, I could relate to the story. So let's talk about Tybalt for a sec. First of all, what in the world are these people wearing? You are the Capulets. You have more money. You don't need to look like a jester. Even, I swear to God, even the Met Gala this year would have told them to go home, change, and come back, because it was absolutely ridiculous what they were wearing. But aside from that, when Tybalt opened his mouth, am I the only one that heard Professor Snape? Because I swear to God, if you take Professor Snape and speed him up just a little bit, it would have been Tybalt.
I can teach you how to bewitch the mind and ensnare the senses.
Gentlemen, good day.
Good day.
A word with one of you. You shall find me apt enough to that, sir, and you will give me occasion.
Anyway, back to talking about the show. Juliet was very much like, I love this guy, and I'm still a child. It was very obvious through just how she was perfectly overdramatic. She was super emotional. It was very obvious that she is a child and she really, really believes that she loves this guy. However, with that being said, she was also really headstrong. Like, I think one specific part that really made me laugh was in the balcony where he was kissing her and getting super into it, and she pushed away and she was like, okay, good night, good night, good night. And she was leaving. He said something like, wait, don't leave me unsatisfied. And this girl turned around and her face was straight up just, be gone! Like, what do you mean satisfied? And then when he responded, she was like, oh, okay, that's not what you meant. But it was hilarious to see that interaction, because I was like, this director really pushed through the idea that the guy is just trying to and then she said something about how thy purpose has to be marriage, and it was back on track, but it was hilarious. So it was very obvious that he was just trying to, and she was like not having it. He came up to her a couple times in the balcony and told her, I love you, I want to be with you, I want to marry you, blah, blah, blah. And she just kept reiterating, and I don't think I've ever noticed this before, maybe because of just the way it was written, but the way these actors portrayed the characters, it was very obvious that she was like, look, I love you too, but if this is any funny business, you're out. As far as Romeo goes, okay, when I saw Romeo, I swear on everything I love, I had to double check that this was the 1968 version, because that was Zac Efron, and I do not care what anyone says, look at it. I think in the beginning you're like, okay, he's kind of, I don't know about his character, I don't know how I feel, like they're saying all these things about him, but I don't really see him pulling through with it. I think what really changed for me was the fight scene, where he was fighting with, kind of fighting with Mercutio, I guess. Mercutio was making fun of the nurse, and all the friends were laughing at her, and even her handmaid, I guess, Peter, was dying of laughter, and she ended up kicking him and saying, you're gonna be screwed over too if you don't help me. I think Romeo's character really, really shined through at that point. Where he was kind of defending her, and even after Mercutio left, he was like, look, Mercutio just loves the sound of his voice, he likes to be the center of attention, don't worry about it. Like, I think at that point you were like, okay, Romeo is a good guy. And I absolutely loved the director's choice to have the nurse take Romeo into church, like into an actual church, and sit down and talk to him about sex at that point, because that made it really, it made it way more emotional and way more real. And I think especially to the character of Romeo, it was like, okay, this woman isn't joking around, she's serious, and it gave Romeo much more credibility. And at that point, as an audience member, I feel like I believed more in the love story as opposed to the story of two teenagers just trying to get it on. And then there was the friar. I absolutely adored the father figure friar. I think in the book, when you're reading it, he kind of comes off as a creep, because it seems like he's just trying to get these two kids together. But I think with I just think the way they dressed him and the specific character they chose, the way he looked fatherly, and he looked like a good man. Like, there's certain people you look at and you just feel like this is a good person. He was one of those people, for me at least. And I think the way he interacted with Romeo was very fatherly. I think the way he interacted with Juliet was very fatherly. I didn't get any creepy sort of vibe from this guy. I think I liked him because he was incredibly supportive, and the advice he gave was way more fatherly than creepy. So I think I did a great job with that. I think they did a really good job of making Lady Capulet kind of the annoying stepmother, and the nurse more of the nice, protective, maternal figure. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I like that it felt more like a movie than a play, and I definitely would recommend this as the best version of Romeo and Juliet. So thanks for tuning in.
SP 2 Milli. I Milli rock on any block. I Milli rock on any